So this week we're talking about the Queen of the Meadows. She's your go-to whenever there's pain, inflammation or a fever. Oh, and there's so much more you can use her for as well. So she's definitely one for the medicine cabinet. Introducing Meadowsweet or Filipendula ulmaria. Let's get started, shall we?
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Project Joyful podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Tutty, your medical herbalist and high performance coach. So, hey, Project Joyful isn't just about being happy. It's about consciously creating a life you love. It's about remembering how to reconnect with your soul-centered joy. You know, that joy that comes from doing what you love, from living on purpose, and from being in a life that allows you to experience deep joy moment by moment. So hey, let's get started, shall we?
So whilst her reference as Queen of the Meadows conjures up a romantic view of Meadowsweet, she was actually named for her ability to command damp meadows and ditches rather than the promise of a fairy tale conjured by her name. In fact, Meadowsweet isn't even named for the meadows she dominates, but in reference to her historical use as a key ingredient in mead. She was also called meadwort. Wort is just an old name for plant. Meadowsweet witnessed many aspects of daily life. She was a strewing herb, and these are herbs that are laid upon the floor like a carpet, often chosen for their sweet fragrance. They were typically herbs that were anti-infectant as well. She was often included as one of the herbs in the bridal bower. Meadowsweet gained her modern-day fame when in 1897 a pharmacist called Felix Hoffmann synthesized salicin from the salicylates found in Meadowsweet. That's quite a mouthful, hey? Salicylates have been extracted from Meadowsweet as early as 1830 and studied for their anti-inflammatory action. And this synthetic version of salicin was marketed by his employer Bayer as aspirin, in honour of Meadowsweet's original botanical name, Spirea ulmaria. So we get the A from the chemical acetyl salicylic acid, which is that synthesized version, and the spirin from Spirea, hence aspirin. What's interesting is that Meadowsweet contains gorgeous polysaccharides, and these heal mucous membranes and other surface areas. So with Meadowsweet you get the anti-inflammatory, blood thinning and fever reducing actions of aspirin without the aspirin induced injury potential of gastric bleeding and ulcers, thanks to those polysaccharides. So Meadowsweet is effective for reducing inflammation and bringing down temperatures where there's a fever. Interestingly, the research also shows that the salicylates are responsible for reducing blood pressure and for inhibiting platelet aggregation, possibly due to that anti-inflammatory action. Because of this blood thinning action, Meadowsweet is typically one to avoid if you are self-administering and taking a drug such as warfarin. In those cases, it's best to talk to a medical herbalist because we're trained in minimizing herb-drug interactions. Now, Meadowsweet's a potent digestive herb. She tends to balance out stomach acid, so she can be used when there's too much or too little stomach acid. So as a result, Meadowsweet's a great herb for heartburn. And the research has reported that Meadowsweet can also help to heal ulcers, and it's useful as a preventative as well when there's a risk of developing stomach ulcers. The research has reported that Meadowsweet is effective in inhibiting Helicobacter pylori or H. pylori. Now, there's a lot of hype around H. pylori. It's a really common bacteria. In fact, it's so common that most of us probably have it. But it's about balance, because an abundant population of H. pylori can cause gastritis, gastric and duodenal ulcers. And this is where Meadowsweet's multifactorial actions really come into play because, well, not only is it anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial, but it also heals, calms and cools those inflamed surfaces. Meadowsweet also supports urinary health. So the tannins in Meadowsweet are astringent, and the combination of antibacterial, anti-inflammatory and its ability to act as a diuretic makes it really useful in treating cystitis and healing those mucous membranes. So how do I like to take my Meadowsweet? Well, it's great as a tea, and use it for most everyday complaints as a tea. Use it fresh or dried. So to make your tea, you just add a tablespoon of your Meadowsweet per cup, and you can make it in a teapot or a covered mug. Keeping a lid on it keeps those beautiful aromatic oils in the tea rather than evaporating out into the air. And leave it to infuse for 3 to 5 minutes and then simply enjoy it. By the way, a flannel soaked in hot meadowsweet tea is a traditional remedy for soothing arthritic joints or gout. All you do is apply your meadowsweet infused flannel to the affected area as a compress. Meadowsweet tea is also really helpful when it's dabbed onto sunburned areas, or if you've got a large area of sunburn, just add the tea to your bath as a herbal soak. So in clinic, I like to use meadowsweet as a tincture. And a tincture is where the herb is macerated in a combination of alcohol and water. And in this case, you'll want an alcohol by volume ratio of around 25%. So you leave it to macerate for about 4 to 6 weeks. Strain the mixture and discard the herbs, and there you have your tincture. Use this as a digestive, particularly if you've overindulged and you've got that full, uncomfortable stomach. So whether you've got a headache, you've pulled something at the gym, or you're looking for other options to manage your heartburn, consider adding Filipendula ulmaria or Meadowsweet to your herbal medicine cabinet. Now remember, plant medicine is potent medicine. So if you have any underlying health conditions, you're pregnant, you're trying to get pregnant, or you're lactating, or if you're taking any medications, don't just rely on the information in this episode. Just because it's natural, it doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. Please do get individual advice by consulting with your medical herbalist. Not only are we trained in which herbs affect a particular health condition or your current life season, they're also trained in herb-drug interactions and in choosing exactly the right herb for you. You see, your body knows exactly what it needs to heal itself. Be that herbal, pharmaceutical, food-based, emotion or mind medicine. My job as your herbalist is to connect you with the herbs that your body is already searching for. As an executive coach who's passionate about herbal medicine, I integrate health protocols such as these into my coaching sessions to ensure that my clients not only lead effectively, but they also maintain their well-being. This holistic approach helps managers, executives and professionals stay at their peak performance, even during challenging times. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.